Hello again, me Glitch Reaper here. I'm back for another vlog, and the news isn't really as good as I was hoping for. I was gonna try to revert my world for Magic and Mythos, but the only one I could really find that was the most recent was from 3 months prior to the point that the world decided to self-destruct, and for that matter, it's not. It wasn't playable last time I tried. Uh, I've tried getting. Uh, I tried getting rid of the main item that had just crashed me. I tried going into another dimension to kind of prepare for a bit more of the finale, and then stuff just decided not to work again. Period. So that world is not workable. And whenever I reverted it to an earlier one, again, it was from like 3 months prior, which is a lot of progress and events to try to make up for. So I've kind of got to ask, would anybody want to see an alternate timeline, or is it time to let that series go? Because originally I actually meant it to be a filler, but then it just kind of took on a life of its own, and things just kept on going until the world decided it didn't want to do it anymore. But I can kind of, while doing other things, is in betweeners, I can try preparing to get other mod packs ready, etc. And I can kind of release that pack as it kind of was at its kind of best point. But again, there would probably be a little caution involved. Like, if you saw some of the big things go down, you know that there's just a little caution is advised. But that can be said for many things, and we people who kind of brave the horizon are kind of few and far between. So when it comes to pushing into possible glitchy territory, well, there's a reason why my gamer name is Glitch Reaper. So yeah, so that all happened. There is a possibility down the road I'll be doing like a strong sci-fi series, but I'm not sure if I'd be doing that before or after I finally got into the Skyblock like one that I was thinking of doing. Uh, and I know that there's like other things in between. Like I know that I'm going to be kind of doing a few things in celebration of other of like the main event of me getting past 1,000 subs, because I was originally wanting to do Minecraft story mode around this time, but things just kind of well now we know that it would just be the first major story arc. It won't be like having season two because of like events. So I don't think I can even get season two anymore if I no matter how much I wanted to, which I really did want to. Just the opportunity decided to come and go before I had the ability to actually purchase it. So stuff happened. I mean, I could try to see if they've got a little bit something left, but I don't think so. But I'm still going to do the first season, which was totally epic, and that's going to be coming up at some point. I don't know exactly when. And my dolphin decided to abandon the area because he's disappointed too. Okay, sad dolphin. Anyhow, as I was kind of saying, I got some things more in long-term plans. I have a pretty good amount of in-betweener stuff for a while, but I will eventually get to some like totally different series at some point. Of course, obviously, some of my long-term stuff still got to keep going, but it's just that in terms of like long-running modded series, that's going to be a bit up in the air right now, and I might take in other options. Like, I could see if I can coordinate with a friend of mine to get that one really roguelike pack going. For some odd reason, my launcher, despite the fact it's the same one, has been having some issues with it, so we may have to take a few rounds to iron that out, if that's even possible. It might have like something special in the package that just does not accept, so I'm not entirely sure. That's weird because it was on the Curse Forge launcher, so I'm wondering what's up with that. So yeah, sometimes you get some really weird results. But again, that happens. I'm okay with that. I just kind of roll with it, and if I need to kind of move on, I move on. If I can go with things, I can go with things. This is how that goes. So that's kind of where that part of that news is. So I'm kind of thinking of some things to do at that a moment in things. I mean, I know I'm still a little slowed down because of other like issues, but still, just trying to have a new rhythm would be nice. Like a new rhythm of what I tend to do on certain days would be good. And that's kind of where I'd like to head. Is I'd like to have something to kind of fill in this spot that I've been having on Mondays and Tuesdays. Because for a while I had Crazy Craft 3. Uh, well, that was back in the day. I don't remember if that was Mondays, Tuesdays, or not. And then I had uh, Crazy Minecraft, but then it had a file implosion. Uh, I, but that might revert. It might just suddenly come back because that again, that was a launcher issue, and that might revert if they fix it. So that might come back on its own. There's a lot of things I wanted to keep doing on there, and the same can be said for Magic and Mythos, because there's a lot of stuff I wanted to keep doing, but it looks like that's probably not going to happen. So I'm probably going to have to alternate that with something different now. So it admittedly it did have a lot more momentum than I first expected, but it looks like it's about that time to transition. And although I was originally favoring Skyblock, I'm not entirely sure which way I'm going to go, because I was wanting to do a different kind of Skyblock. And it will include some sci-fi elements in it regardless, whether it's the big sci-fi focus or the Skyblock focus, either one will have some cool sci-fi mods involved, like, for example, Advanced Rocketry, which is pretty cool mod. It requires a lot of brute force, like crafting and multi-blocks to do, but then you get to launch rockets, and they're a lot more customizable than they are with Galacticraft. So it's like it's personally your rocket. It's not like something else. Like, I mean, you can have the simple design, you can go for something really fancy. It's just whatever. But that's the point. It's whatever. So you can like custom design your rockets, and there haven't been very many space mods that did that. However, one of the big ones, one of the old school ones, is coming back. I found out that the old school warp drive mod is back in 1.12.2. So that's awesome. I mean, you got to build your custom ship and flying through dimensions. How awesome was that? So I'm gonna have to check into some of my options, and it will be interesting if I decide to combine them to put maybe more sci-fi elements into my Skyblock series that I was originally gonna do, because I'm not entirely sure how some things will interact with some of the alternate dimensions. So it could be that they're more compatible than I first thought, because I wanted to be able to kind of show off some of the sci-fi mobs. And well, when I come to think about it, some of the like standard dimensions I tend to include in a pack are very compatible with a lot of other mods. So even if I was going heavy sci-fi, I'd probably still have Twilight Forest in there. So it'd be kind of like my encounters on land for a change type location. Because, again, Skyblock means the main world will be up in the air. However, it won't be quite as you might expect. Because, again, I've got this concept for a Skyblock that I'm pretty sure I've still never seen happen otherwise. And I'm curious what everybody thinks about my crazy idea. It's something that was kind of converged upon by me and my bro a long time ago, and we just kind of had this what if scenario, and we kind of kept going with it when we was experimenting, and we got some crazy generation in the sky that you probably would not believe and even think is remotely possible in modern Minecraft. But there is a way to do it using the standard system, and so whenever I reveal the secret to that in the actual Skyblock, everybody's gonna be going, "I cannot believe we did not think of that." It's just this is like really like seriously. I know that I work a little differently than most people mentally, but would it really be so unusual if I'm one of the few people that could possibly see that combination just because of that? I mean, that would also be very awesome. Talk about saying, "Hey, different works." So that would be just absolutely awesome if I pull it off. So I'm, as much as I'm thinking about it, I might go ahead and combine the ideas. I might do a heavier, like a I mean, there'd still be like magical elements involved, but I might make both elements extra heavy in this skyblock. And unlike most skyblocks, there won't be any particular like major goals or landmark events. It'll just be whatever I can do, which will include some pretty big things. It's just the fact that I feel that a lot of these quest-driven mod packs are a bit limited. Like after you've done like whatever the quests are, you tend to think it's finished, even if there's other things you can do. But me trying to know the mods more, I'd probably just keep questing until I have literally done just about everything in the pack one can actually do. Maybe and then some. Like I might come up with some crazy extra ideas just cause. So it might be something that might be a long-standing series, and I kind of miss having something like that that I'm considering pretty much indefinite or just for an insane period of time because there's just so much to do that you know that you could probably make it over 100 episodes. I'd really like to have a series like that really work out at some point, and I've gotten close a few times, but usually events have kind of got in my way. I feel that me making the pack myself in 1.12.2 would be a lot more controllable because it's a very stable Forge version. It's kind of, and well, it has been kind of like the new 1.7.10 for quite some time, where you get a very reliable version. Although, whenever you look back at what you could do with 1.7.10 with mods, it still seems like 1.12. Darn lips, like 1.12.2 is just better. So, yeah, there's the fact that I will be having that improvement, and it could get a bit crazy as to what all I might do there. There's a few things originally I was thinking of including that I might not, some things I was originally not considering that I probably will be. I've kind of evolved the concept of this particular skyblock over time, and I think it might finally be that period. So, what would anybody think of me deciding to just kind of call Magic and Mythos basically a goner, which admittedly due to extreme bugginess has pretty much it become the case that I cannot really control, and uh, and go with a major Skyblock series that will have some serious sci-fi stuff in it too. And there's always one thing that's really awesome about the Skyblock concept. You go from having very little resources to a lot in some way or another. Like, you literally build the world yourself in a way that's very different from normal Minecraft. Because usually you already have resources there, you mine them up, and then you go from there. But in a Skyblock, you literally have to manufacture everything, even a lot of the base resources. Now, there will be some exceptions in my version because again, I've got a different concept and it may include some base resources in some very unorthodox ways, or at least ones that you don't normally think as being a good way to get them. So it'll make it really really a bit of a mind bender just because of this, because I really don't think many people have seen this one through, and I'd like to see a very bizarre concept through, and hopefully it becomes its own special thing, like something that we build here special that's unique. So people probably thinking about this one for a while, especially around here. So I just wanted to know, are you ready for me to go Skyblock? Because I'm thinking it's about that time, and without some other things workable, I think it's about time for me to start preparing for that and what time I've got to kind of build a pack. And I will be having some other things going for a while. Again, I still have the Undertale stuff going as a filler, and we'll probably have Minecraft Story Mode as long as I find out that I can record it in a good way, which usually works out pretty well with my software. I mean, ever since I've switched over to Lightcam Game, it's been pretty good, although it does have weird things with Steam version Undertale. I still haven't figured out why it does some of those things, but at least I can work around it. So I know that other things on Steam and on Twitch usually are pretty compatible. It's just sometimes you get that one game that decides it just doesn't want to conform. So yeah, there's that. So I probably will be okay on that front for a while, but again, probably want to build up the pack in preparation, etc. So I kind of need to know. Everybody think it's time for me to skyblock because I want to let this wild idea out finally. I want to just let it free. Like that dolphin decided earlier. He decided to just kind of go when apparently he was missing my magic and mythos. And probably my crazy Minecraft. He's going, you're not doing this? I'm gone. The dolphin left on that. That's kind of sad. But, I mean, I've got other things. Maybe I can encourage him to come back. Oh well. Well, anyhow, barring the dolphin's return, there's still the other issues. But it is that time for me to log off and perform the usual exit. So, this has been Glitch Reaper. I'll be logging off. Hope to hear from you all later. And I realize the panda will probably not party as long as the parrots. Because I can give him cake, but he just won't stay eating it. But we can still join the parrot party and let the panda watch. So, are you willing to join in? The world may never know. Because, at least I know how to parrot party. Oh wow, this time I got the whole thing in just like the perfect position. Okay, so join the parrot party!